What if your lack of confidence isn't actually the problem? What if the real problem is that you've spent years needing other people to approve of you before you approve of yourself? Because that's exactly what I did. I thought confidence came from getting people to like me. Thought if enough people approved of me, respected me, praised me, or agreed with me, I'd finally feel good enough. It was wrong. And that misunderstanding cost me years of anxiety, self-doubt, people-pleasing, and bad decisions. In this video, I'm going to show you why we become addicted to validation, where it comes from, and the simple shift that finally helped me trust myself again. When people hear the word addiction, they think about alcohol, drugs, or gambling. They rarely think about approval. But validation can become every bit as addictive. The compliment, the praise, the recognition, the reassurance. A little hit of relief that comes when somebody tells you you're okay. The problem isn't that validation feels good. The problem is what happens when you start relying on it. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they're weak because they care what other people think. You're not weak, you're human. Human beings are wired for connection. For thousands of years, belonging to a group increased your chances of survival. Being accepted mattered. The problem is, your brain still reacts to social approval as if your survival depends on it. That's why a single negative comment can ruin your day, while 20 compliments barely register. Here's where things get dangerous. Validation feels amazing in the moment. Somebody praises you. Somebody likes your post. Somebody tells you you're doing well. For a few minutes you feel better. Then what happens? The feeling fades. And because it fades, you need another hit, another compliment, another sign you're okay, another reminder you're worthy. That's why validation is such a poor foundation for confidence. If you're wondering why you seek validation so much, chances are the answer didn't start last year. Probably didn't start when you became an adult either. For most people, the need for approval begins much earlier. As children, we learn what earns love, what earns praise, what earns attention. We learn what gets rewarded. And without realizing it, we start attaching our value to those responses. Somewhere along the way, many of us learn a dangerous lesson. We start believing our worth comes from how people respond to us. If they're happy, we're valuable. If they're disappointed, we're not. If they approve, we're enough. If they don't, something must be wrong with us. It's a belief that quietly follows people into adulthood. When I look back now, some of my worst decisions weren't made because I wanted something. They were made because I wanted approval. Approval from people. Approval from society. Approval from people whose opinions shouldn't have mattered in the first place. I didn't even realize I was doing it. People pleasing often looks like kindness, but underneath, it's usually fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of criticism, fear of not being liked. The more you organize your life around keeping others comfortable, the more disconnected you become from yourself. Eventually you wake up and realize you don't know what you want anymore. One day I had a realization that genuinely changed my life. I was walking through town worrying about what people thought of me. Then I started looking at the people around me. Every single one of them seemed completely absorbed in their own world, their own worries, their own insecurities, their own problems. And suddenly, it hit me. The audience I'd been performing for most of my life didn't really exist. I was performing for no one. And that led me to a question that changed everything. Am I living my life, or am I living the version of my life that I think other people will approve of? Because those are two very different things. And until you're honest about that question, you'll keep giving away power that should belong to you. Most people spend years chasing approval because they believe it will eventually create confidence. But here's the problem. Confidence built on approval disappears the moment approval disappears. Validation doesn't create confidence. What does? In part 2, I'll show you the mistake most people make. I'll show you the simple framework that finally helped me stop needing permission and start trusting myself. The biggest lie I ever believed was that I needed to feel motivated before I could change my life. I kept waiting for confidence, waiting for certainty, waiting to feel ready. But none of those things turned up. What finally changed everything was realizing nobody was coming to rescue me. Not motivation, not luck, not some magical opportunity. If my life was going to improve, it was down to me. And the strange thing is, the moment I accepted that responsibility, I stopped feeling powerless. Because responsibility isn't punishment, it's freedom. The second you stop waiting for somebody else to fix your life, you take your power back. Nobody's coming, mate. That's the bad news. The good news is you don't need them to. People think rebuilding your life starts with some massive breakthrough. It doesn't. It starts with one promise, one tiny promise. Mine wasn't impressive. Some days it was simply getting out of bed when I said I would. Other days it was going for a walk, making one phone call, filling in one application, keeping one commitment to myself. That's how self-trust comes back. Not through motivation, through evidence. Every promise you keep sends a message to your brain. Maybe I can trust myself after all. Maybe I'm stronger than I thought. Maybe I'm not finished yet. Stop trying to change your whole life. Win today first. One thing nearly kept me trapped for years. Comparison. Looking at other people and deciding they were further ahead. Better relationships. Better careers. Better lives. But comparison is a rigged game. You're comparing your worst moments to somebody else's highlight reel. I learned that when I had absolutely nothing left. Living in that barn stripped everything away and forced me to see something important. The only life you need to improve is your own, not theirs, yours. The moment you stop looking sideways, you finally start moving forward. People you're comparing yourself to aren't even thinking about you. Whenever life gets difficult now, I ask myself one question. What would the person I'm trying to become do next? Not next year, not next month, next. Because that's where people get overwhelmed. They focus on the mountain instead of the next step. The next step is manageable. The next step is possible. When you take enough of those small steps, something remarkable happens. You look back and realize you've traveled further than you ever thought you could. Forget the whole staircase. Just find the next step. If you're watching this and your life feels like it's falling apart right now, listen carefully. You're not broken. You're not finished. And you're definitely not alone. I've stood where you are. I've lost things I thought I'd never recover from. I've stared at ceilings wondering how I'd start again. But here's what I learned. Rock bottom isn't where your story ends. It's where the truth begins. Build one promise, keep it, then build another. Keep going. One day you'll look back and realize the thing that nearly destroyed you became the reason you became stronger. And if this video helped you, subscribe and join us for the next one, because we're only just getting started. Your comeback starts with the promise you make today. If this video helped you see things differently, hit subscribe. Every week I'll share real lessons from the mistakes, failures, setbacks and rebuilds that taught me what actually works. No fluff, no nonsense, just practical ways to build a life that works.